Vinny.
Is this Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vinny.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Hey, thanks for calling, man. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Good to talk to you.
Now, you guys crack me up. Carmine pronounces his name Appice.
Well, I say Appice. Carmine says Appice. And the third brother, Frank, says a peach, the Italian way. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny. I saw you guys at Drum Wars back in the cutting room last year,
yeah.
and that was phenomenal, man. That was a great show that you guys did.
Yeah, it was pretty. It is a great show, and it's kind of like a high energy rock show. Some people think, well, what is it? A drum clinic? Whatever. But we got a band, and we play all the music from our histories, and then some drum stuff in between, and we kick each other's butt in that thing.
Yeah, it was great.
It's a lot of fun.
It rocked, and you had a lot of crowd interaction. In fact, during your solo, you were having the crowd mimic what you were playing, and then you led up to something that there was just no way we could mimic, and it was pretty funny.
So, yeah, we have a good time with that. It's a fun show.
Yeah, that it was. I had a good time, man. So, Last in Line, you guys got a new album out, Last in Line 2, and it sounds really good.
Yeah, it came out when did it come out? February 22nd, and it's the first album we did with Phil Soussan on bass.
Right.
Because Jimmy
passed away.
Jimmy Bain, we love him, and he passed away, and so we had to get somebody, and Phil is part of the family. He's a great player, and we've known him for years. So we decided, let's play with Phil and see how it goes. And then we did a lot of gigs, and then we also did a lot of touring with Phil. So it really worked out well, and we're real proud of the album, and it's doing well. It's got great reviews, and so now we're out. We're playing a couple songs from that album too.
I want to go back to something from a while back. Now, I know you played with John Lennon, but is it true you were playing with John Lennon at 16 years old?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know the band I had at the time was kind of like a funk rock band. We had 4 horn players, and we knew the guitar player was good friends with Jimmy Iovine, who worked at the record plant producing. He's a big producer before all the Interscope and Beats Audio thing he did. So he was producing John Lennon at the time, and he heard us, and he brought us into the studio, and basically that led to a management contract. So we were there all the time. We had our own rehearsal room for free, which is killer in Manhattan,
Oh, yeah.
And one night he said, can you guys come down and do some hand claps? So we said, sure. So we went down to the studio. We walk in, there's John Lennon, and we're like, holy shit, I can't believe it. And then we put on the headphones. Now he's talking to us. You go, wow, this is amazing. So we did hand claps on the song Whatever Gets You Through the Night. That's me and my band on that, doing hand claps. And then we left. A couple of days later, we're rehearsing, and John comes walking in our room, watches us rehearse. Sits down, watches us rehearse. So we got to know him pretty well, and he would come up a lot, and we'd even play pool. There was a pool room up there. Play pool with him, and he'd hang out a lot. Then he asked us to do some videos with him. We did 3 videos, as the band that were on some of his DVDs, and then we did a live. He also produced the owner of the record plant's wife. She was a singer, so we went in and recorded 8 songs with him as producer, and that was really cool. And then the last thing we did, he asked us to do a live show that was broadcast all around the world on TV, and it was taped at the New York Hilton. And so we did that, and then I found out a couple of years ago that was his last live appearance. And I used to go to school the next day because I was only 16.
How
still in high school.
Oh my God! How crazy was that to be? You get into the business. Okay, Carmine is already in the business, and you get in there, and you're 16 years old, and you're playing with John Lennon. You're playing with a Beatle. I mean, that had to be
I know.
mind-blowing.
It was like going from one world of color into black and white. Sit there in school going,
I played with
what
John
am I
Lennon
doing,
last night.
man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Because I knew.
As a matter of fact, I used to be drumming on the desk, and the teacher's trying to teach, and she'd stop the class and go, wait a minute, who's that drumming? And she'd go, Vincent, stop that drumming.
Vincent.
And I'd stand up and go, excuse me, did anyone else in here play with one of the Beatles last night?
No.
And I'd leave.
So you were playing that. You were playing that card.
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, I left school. I quit high school because I was doing this, and then I was playing, and my brother was successful, so my parents went with it. You know?
Right.
They saw that there's a career, and you can make money doing this. So they let me do it, and later on, I got an equivalency GED thing.
There you go. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Exactly.
And I don't blame you. And it's very cool of your parents, to do that because, again, they saw what Carmine was doing. And they thought, hey, the kid's got a shot.
Yeah, and he was famous by then,
Yeah.
So it was easy to persuade them, like, hey, look, I'm kind of wasting my time here.
Right.
I'm not concentrating on this. So anyway, that's what happened with John. Then I found out that was his last live appearance. I went, holy shit! I got to play that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's an amazing thing, man, to have under your belt. That's crazy.
Then when we did when I joined Sabbath, we're on tour in England, and we're going to do a song for the movie Heavy Metal, and we had a couple-day break in England, and they said, all right, we're going to go write a song for the movie Heavy Metal, and that's how we wrote Mob Rules together. So we went to John Lennon's house. This is after he passed. I think Ringo owned the house. And they gave out keys to all the different rooms, and I got John's room, too.
Wow.
Talk about weird.
Yeah, that is
But I didn't stay in there because, it was like he just got murdered, and I was like, I don't know if I'll stay in here,
Yeah, I get that.
I should have, but I was chicken shit.
Yeah, I get it. I think I would have, felt the same way. I don't know that I would have stayed there. I don't know if I would have been able to sleep, man. So how old were you when you joined Black Sabbath?
Sabbath, let's see, I was about 22. And before that I got a call from Sharon Osbourne and said, Ozzy's putting a band together. And we heard about you, and we want to fly you to England and hang out with Ozzy, see how it goes, see if you guys get along. And I was young. I don't know, England, where's that? I've never been out of the country except for Canada. And then I asked my brother, I said, what about Ozzy, man? I heard he's pretty nuts. Is he nuts? And Carmine kind of went, yeah, he's pretty crazy. So I didn't do it. I turned it down, believe it or not.
Really? And
then about a month later, I get a call from Sabbath. And it was like, oh, man, what a good year. So, but it was easy for me to go down. I just drove into Hollywood and met Tony the night before at a hotel. And we got along great. And then he said, all right, come down to rehearsal tomorrow. That's when I met Ronnie and Geezer, Jeff Nichols on keyboards. So.
You were in Black Sabbath for how long?
At that point, about 2 years. We did 2 albums, The Mob Rules, and we did Live Evil.
Mm-hmm.
And then the band broke up, and that's when Ronnie said he's going to do something on his own. Do you want to join me? And I said yes. And that's how we started Dio. And then we started putting our heads together, Ronnie and I, as, putting a band together. And first it was just me and him. We'd go in the rehearsal room, he'd play bass and sing, and I'd play drums. And that's what we were doing. So then we tried a couple of guitar players from here, from the States, and then Ronnie decided he wanted to have more of an international flavor in the band because he's always played with, international players. So that's when we decided to go to England, hook up with Jimmy Bain, and Jimmy knew Vivian, and gave him a call, and then we jammed in London, and that was the start of the band. We knew it was great.
And you guys did a lot of albums. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at the discography. You had Holy Diver in '83, Last in Line in '84, Sacred Heart in 85, Intermission in 85 as well, Dream Evil in 87, Strange Highways in 93, Angry Machines 96, and then Inferno live album, Last in Live, in 98. So that's quite a few albums with Dio.
Yeah, it's a lot of albums. Unfortunately, there was a guitar player change within the first. Vivian did the first 3 albums with us. Then Ronnie and Vivian weren't seen eye to eye because of business things that were promised that never had materialized. So, so that's what happened with that. And Viv, he replaced Viv with Craig Goldie, and it's just Craig's a great player. He's a great guy. He's a good friend, and it just as the years went on, the band changed. The guitar player, the sound changed a bit, and then there were more keyboards added. So it was kind of not a good idea to do that,
So you're saying you weren't really happy with the direction that the band started to take?
No, because the Holy Diver, which was hugely successful and still is.
Right.
And that album, we went into Sound City, we rehearsed there and recorded there. But we used to go in there and just smoke a lot of pot and jam and have a great time, just fuck around and try all sorts of shit. It was just like anything goes, and we made a great album. And then it started Last in Line. We went up to Caribou Ranch in Colorado to do the album, so we were secluded. And then Ronnie started taking too much control of the production and stuff, and it became the word "can't" came into the equation. Like, well, we can't do that. Why not? Well, we can't do this, playing musically. So, which was cool, Ronnie's great and stuff, but it didn't. Then we had keyboards at that point too. Clark Schnell was on keyboards, and then we started bringing in more keyboards, which mellowed it out some. There's not these raw riffs of Holy Diver, and that's what happened, And then the next album was about the same thing. It got really a little more planned out rather than this crazy bunch of guys with on fire in the room.
Right.
So the sound changed,
Well, let me ask you this based on Dio, because I've interviewed Carmine and he's very straight up, and I can tell that you're very straight up as well. What is your take on the whole Dio hologram thing? Good idea, bad idea?
I don't know. I haven't really seen it, but I don't think, in my opinion, I don't know if Ronnie would dig that or not.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: you as a drummer, would you play in that?
I can't answer that. I don't even know what it looks like.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, the idea of a hologram of a person, the idea of a hologram.
It would be really. I think it would be very strange for me to do that.
That's what I'm getting at.
I'm used to seeing Ronnie in front of me.
Yeah.
I've seen Ronnie's ass for 30-something years in front of me.
Right. So to see a hologram.
Now I'm gonna see the back of a screen.
Right.
So
it
would be freaky.
Yeah, because there was just some press on it again the other day, and a lot of people are, it was put out there that people think it's a good idea or bad idea, and the general consensus seems to be, let the dead rest in peace. It's a little bizarre, but there's other people that want to see it. Me, I've never seen it. I've never seen any hologram things, so I don't know. I don't know that I would. All right, let's get back to Last in Line. Now, originally you guys formed after Ronnie's death, 2012, kind of just going out there, jamming, having a good time, doing Dio tunes.
Yeah, we started with a jam, just a friendly jam, like Viv called. Viv was talking to Jimmy, and they just figured out, hey, you want to get together and have a jam? It'd be fun. So they called me, and I said, sure. So we went down to the rehearsal place, and we jammed on all the old Dio stuff, and it was a lot of fun. Viv was trying to remember parts, Jimmy too, and me and myself, and then we decided to do it again the next week. And I said, my friend Andy's in town. He's a great singer, and he knows this stuff. I'll tell him to come down. So he came down, and he sang a bunch of songs with us, and it was just amazing. It just blew us away.
Yeah, he's got a great
So then
voice.
we decided. Yeah, he's got a great voice. He's not trying to be Ronnie. He just sings from his heart, and that's what we were looking for. So that was cool. So we thought, well, why don't we do some gigs, you know? So we got some gigs. Did one gig in California, and then a good friend of Viv is Steve Strange. He's a big promoter, manager in Europe, and he wanted to get involved, so he booked us a bunch of dates in Europe. And we did it. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, people were going crazy. It was amazing to see the reaction of people listening to these songs that are 30-something years old. And from there, we got Steve got us a record deal with Frontier Records, and we said, okay, cool. So that's how that came. The first album, Heavy Crown.
Yeah.
Holy Crown. That's a combination. Of
well, you know, Holy Diver in your head, sure.
Yeah. So then it started a whole new thing, and now the band's developing into a band. You know, before we were just playing the Dio stuff, and now we're playing, you know, our stuff too. Right. Probably half Dio, half us. So
I'm looking at your tour schedule, and you guys got a real busy year. I mean, you're going real strong, and what's really cool is, you know, then you go overseas. You're doing Download this year, which is badass. Doing Download.
Yeah, we're doing Download. Also, this run in the East Coast, it's 8 or 9 shows. Then we're going to Puerto Rico for the first time. I don't think I've ever been to Puerto Rico. I can't even remember, but we're playing there. That's just been confirmed. And then we'll do, in June, the Download Festival with Def Leppard. So Bill's going to play twice. He's going to play once with us in the day and then at night with Def Leppard.
It's going to be busy.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And then he's out with Def Leppard.
Yeah.
And I'm actually doing a tour of Europe with the thing I do with his, like, last year I did Mob Rules Live, and it was like, with a great band, and we toured all over Europe playing most of the tracks from Mob Rules, you know, and people loved it. So I'll be doing that, and then we get back together in September, and we're doing some more shows throughout the year. Def Leppard will be finished. So it is a busy schedule, so it's great.
Yeah, which is good. You're keeping real busy. And I understand you're doing some dates with UFO as well.
Right. And then in October, we got about 7 or 8 dates with UFO, and just real sad about Paul Raymond, you know, because this was their last tour.
Right.
And, I didn't know him personally, but from what I hear, he's a fantastic guy. And that was really sad, but they said they're going to continue and, you know, finish the dates. And that'll be a great bill, you know, us and them.
In fact, you're coming back to New York for that. You're going to be in New York City for that. After Paul died, I thought, well, damn. And I mean, it was tragic. I mean, there he is on tour. He's fine one day, and the next day, gone. You know,
right.
So I didn't really know what the band was going to do, and then I saw, well, they are going to be doing the dates. You know, they're giving it some time and going back out there. And I saw you guys were opening for them. So,
well, that's what we did with Jimmy when Jimmy passed away. You know, we stopped. We had a tour book, but then we just canceled it because it was coming right up. And we had to just rethink about it, and then and you figure, you know, what would Jimmy and Paul want the band to do?
Mm-hmm.
Stay home?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm sure, you know, both of them would go, man, just go do it, you know, keep the music going.
And you know, it goes back to, look, that's the rock and roll spirit. You're right. That's what they'd want you guys to do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's rock and roll. It's extremely sad, don't get me wrong, but you know, like you say, go home or go rock. No, they'd want you to go rock, man. Definitely.
Exactly. So so that's what we're doing, and then that takes us out to the end of the year, you know. So that's great. And the cool thing is it's starting to grow now. We're seeing more and more fans returning to the gigs. We're seeing new fans. Shows are getting a little bit bigger. So we're really, you know, it's excited because it's a crazy time and having a new band and the music business these days, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to get it going,
Yeah, it is, and I did
Either,
notice that
you
about you guys, that, you definitely gained steam off of this new album, so it is a great thing that you're getting new fans and people are coming out, because, I mean, you nailed it. The business is in, bad shape, which is so depressing to somebody like me, being a fan and looking for new stuff all the time, and, I mean, but, it is what it is. But,
Well, you know what? One of the causes of this is whoever is running all the radio stations in America.
Yeah.
It's gotten corporate.
Mm-hmm.
And these corporations don't have a clue about anything about music, and all they want to do is sell commercials. They don't care about the music.
No.
So they play the same old, excuse the expression, I'm not even going to say that. I'll say they play the same old songs all the time from all the major bands from the 80s. And it's the same old songs from those bands. It's not even any B cuts or deep cuts. So there's no creativity in it. It's not. I mean, a kid listening to radio is going to go, "Shit, I heard this song a million times already." There's nothing that's going to get your attention. Like, wow, who's that? That's a different song. When I was a kid growing up, I listened to FM radio, and there was stuff played at night, like Mahavishnu Orchestra. I never heard of them.
Right.
And I listened to it was on the radio. I'm going, holy crap, that is bad. Badass. And then I went out and bought the record. So everybody's got these records already that they play. So
that's true.
The music's at a standstill. It's at a standstill.
It is.
They don't allow any new stuff.
I
very rarely does a new band break. Like when we did Holy Diver, we put it out. All of a sudden, Rainbow in the Dark's on the radio. I'm driving around L.A. Hey, Rainbow in the Dark's on. Cool. They played stuff from all the bands. Now they don't play shit. Terrible.
Yeah.
So that's one of the causes why the business is in the toilet a little bit. Because the businesses turn corporate, and that's what they do.
Yeah, and you're when I talked to your brother Carmine, he basically said the same thing, and he, because I asked him about the crowds in Europe, and he said, they're better over there, and one of the, reasons is there's better radio, they still have rock magazines and things of that nature.
That's right. They still have festivals, they have magazines, they have radio, they have a lot more stuff going on for rock than we do here in America.
Right.
Here in America, it's like different,
Yeah, it is. And South America seems to be the same way. They seem to have a big appetite for, hard rock and heavy metal.
Absolutely love metal down there. I actually did that Black Sabbath tour down there last year, too. I'm going back to both these places. I'm going to Europe in June, and then August I'm going to South America to do 5 or 6 shows. And they love Sabbath. They love Dio and all the other metal, and I go down and play those songs, they go crazy.
Yeah.
And they love the music. They so appreciate you going down there and playing for them, first of all, and they got a passion for this music.
All right, Vinny, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. I look forward to coming out and seeing Last in Line. I wish you the best out there on the road, and I'm very happy that you're staying busy and still out there rocking.
Oh, thank you very much. It's great talking to you, Jay, and keep it going, buddy. You're doing great. I'm keeping it going, too.
All right, I will do that.
All right, thank you, Jay. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.